I sure hope Scott gets on here. Oh, look who's here.
I've been on here for I've been on here for a minute. I was wondering where the music went.
Well, it's gone. Time to get started.
Excellent. Who has control of the PowerPoint? Okay, cool.
This one.
I've got
So
the
bear
power.
with me.
Excellent. So Kim is out celebrating her daughter's graduation, and they're doing a little, pivot pivot drive-by, one person at a time graduation. So every kid can have that experience, because if you could imagine graduating this year, it would be so bizarre. So they're able to have something, and they're very excited for it. They get dressed up, they have the cap and gown, and so if you get a chance, ask Kim how it went, and I know it's a really big day for her. Also, Kathy Whitaker is at a graduation today too. So it's funny how any type of business, whether it's a school or a church or anything, how they can pivot and how they can still make things happen. So it's just really, really fun stuff. So long story short, I'm here leading the team meeting. Yay, maybe yay for some and boo for others, but probably boo for most. So bear with me. So the agenda we got, just want to start with just that important message from KW. We have a ton of new cappers. We got some updates, training, and we do have a guest speaker that will be on right around 12:15, and very similar to our last meeting, just interview questions, just get to know them, get to hear some tips, and so we're excited about that. And then we have the one and only Julia Kellogg to give us some tips around how to support the appraisal process and what she does with that, and how that is just more relevant now than ever, and some compliance updates and just a lot of fun stuff. So if we could get started. There I am. Do you want to do the next slide, please? So just to start with, the most relevant information of the moment, and everything that is happening. For those of you that were on the Market Center call at 9 a.m. yesterday, thank you very much. I think that was needed for a lot of people. And it was a great time to discuss through that and to talk through and to help people be heard and just process it. There was also a great call at 7 a.m. yesterday on the national shift call. And if you weren't able to watch either one of those or either of those, I would highly recommend looking at Kim's email from yesterday and just taking a little bit of time to watch them and just to see what the conversations are like and how that played out. Gary Keller did send an email late on Sunday night, and this is regarding the George Floyd and the Minneapolis situation and the effect that it's had on the country in terms of everything going on in the news media and the social media, and how that has an impact on all of us. And what I love about Gary's message is it's just clear and to the point. Even in the first sentence, that he just said, "I'd like to make one thing clear. Racism is wrong, and Keller Williams stands with the Black community and wholeheartedly supports equality." And goes on like any great leader would, and just helps paint his vision and his ideas. And so a couple of great things that are going to come from this, from our company, is we are lucky enough to have an international agent leadership council representative in our office, and that is Kim Rogney. And the way the International Agent Leadership Council works is very similar to how our local Agent Leadership Council works. In our office for our market center, for those of you who may not know, the top 20% of producers, they're able to join an Agent Leadership Council, and it acts as somewhat of a board for our office. The agreement is that we're going to pour into them and grow them as leaders and help them run their business like a business and show them how the market center runs. And in turn, they are going to be able to vote on policy decisions. They're agreeing to be more involved in terms of teaching and culture and committees. And it's a really good win-win situation. What Keller Williams does on a national level is there's 32 regions across the country, and each region has representatives on the international. And so our region is made up of 32 offices in 4 states. And Kim is one of the 3 representatives of our region to just represent what we stand for. And she got to vote on a very monumental decision this past family reunion. But what Keller Williams is doing is they're proposing task forces and things that can happen from a national level. And so if you guys have any suggestions or any ideas or anything that you would like to do or see, then Kim is the best outlook and the best outlook for that, to just make your message known and what that could look like. And so I know it's hard to put people on the spot with any kind of questions or any kind of updates, but does anybody have something they would like to share or a question that they have regarding this topic and the plan around it and impact, anything that someone would like to share at all?
So just really quickly, I reached out to some of the people that I know who are in the Black community, and pretty much everyone was like, we just want to be heard. So a lot of times they were like, well, we don't really need donations or things like that. They just want us to, in our own communities, speak the truth of the situation. So that was kind of, it's tricky because it's like, well, then how do I do that? But it's just when you talk to people, it's amazing, on social media, how a lot of people that you think and then you see their posts and it's like, whoa, they say things that they might not say in person, but it's okay because it's on social media. So.
Yeah, and Shelley, you reached out to somebody and you shared the email with me, and it was very nice how appreciative they were. And, just by asking that question, what can I do to help? We did share a list of 75 things yesterday in an email. And so if you didn't get that, maybe we can send that again as a recap of the team meeting. And it doesn't take anything monumentally big. It's not like, it's not an all or nothing. So what we can do is just continually move that ball forward. But we're with a company that didn't, just keep this silent or pretend it, didn't happen or things like that. And so I'm really grateful that the leader of the company put out a message like this so timely and just help us with awareness and see where we can move forward. It's one thing after the next in 2020 that's continuing to test us. And it's just continuing to make us stronger and see how we can improve and work with that. So thank you for sharing, Shelley. Is there anything else that wants to be shared?
So I made calls yesterday to some of my friends, and the majority of the feedback from them was that they're reflecting and they're praying and they're encouraging everyone else to do the same. They're concerned for safety. Themselves are not overly thrilled with the looting that they're seeing and the rioting that they're seeing, and don't believe that that's right either. And that was just the message that they had sent basically across the board. And I just told them, you know, that I'm here to listen, that I can't imagine what it's like to walk in those shoes and have the concerns that they have to live with. And then I'm here to listen to their stories and to be educated by them, and looking for their guidance to tell me what I can do and how I can be better for them. And that was much appreciated, to hear that from me, from their standpoint. And I'd also like to say, I wasn't on the 9 a.m. call yesterday, but I did review the YouTube video that was posted afterwards. And what Julie Davidson said really just struck a chord. And I didn't realize how hard it had really been to walk in those shoes as an agent either. So I really have to commend her for her speaking up and speaking her truth and educating us from her standpoint as well. So I applaud her for that.
Very much agreed. Thank you for sharing.
All right. Scott, are you, anything else to add, or should I go to the next?
I think you can go to the next.
Okay. We've got some people to celebrate.
So we have a lot of cappers. This is an awesome time. So if you guys could all put your hands together for Lisa Packard. She just capped. Yay! And Andrew Johnson, you may not know, but he's dual career and also capped, and so that's really awesome. So round of applause for Andrew Johnson. And then we've got the dream team, Joe Singsheim and Jeff Nevin of Reliance Real Estate. Congratulations, capping. And Dan Bain capped in 1 month. So if you want to give him a nice little celebration, he capped in basically a week.
Crazy.
So yay to Dan. And then the other dream team, the original, Chris and Gary Ruskowitz also capped. So congratulations. A lot of cappers. Hold on 1 second. Tony's calling me. So can you take kind of the next slide?
Sure. Oh boy, here we go. Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to wing this. I'm just going to read it. So market update. These are the numbers that we have for this week. 538 new listings, 486 accepted offers, and 406 homes sold. So clearly still very busy. I love these because they're a quick snapshot that I can share on my social media that people don't have to analyze too much. It's just like, holy cow, because I realize there's so many people that don't think real estate is as crazy busy as it is unless they're either looking for a home or looking to sell their home. So I love using these. So Scott, are you back?
Yeah, he needed he was having trouble, so he should be on in a minute here. So
Okay,
yeah,
you can do the bar graphs.
So we've got, again, these bar graphs that are timely. They're starting to share a lot of good data, 2 full months worth. And just to practice again, we should have been doing all along and came out of necessity. So nothing too dramatic happening there in new listings, but another 538 came on, 486 offers last week, accepted offers. And then, you know, you've got the next of the 5, so you can go to the next, just kind of show them the price changes. This one's going to be fun, interesting to keep your eye on. There was 205 new price adjustments in last week. And the end of the week, there was 406 sales, which I feel like 402 of them were from our office. We had a very, very busy week of closings last week. We actually paid out the most money in one day to the agents in our history last Friday. We actually had to raise our payment increase from the bank. So keep selling houses. That was fun to see.
I was like, wait, I have to increase it to what? I'm like, trust me, it's real.
And then the expireds and withdrawn. So those are going down. What I saw from looking at our we just studied this May to last May, and the number of listings has gone down year over year. However, the number of accepted offers to the number of new listings. So in May, 85% there was 85% accepted offers for all the new listings. Last year in May, there was 74% accepted offers to listings. And so what the message is even though is twofold. The inventory has gone down, which obviously would always make it even more of a pro seller market. But because of that, more of the homes that are on the market are even getting accepted offers than last year. And if you recall last year, how crazy it wasn't like last year, it was one offer or homes weren't selling. I mean, last year in May was as competitive as I thought it would ever get. And this May actually became more competitive. So just keep using these numbers, keep telling a great story. So that's all I have on that.
Do you want to come back to training, Scott?
Yeah, let's come back to training.
Okay.
Tony, perfect timing. Oh my goodness. So, do you want to, well, first of all, thank you so much. We have a guest speaker, Tony Brony, who has agreed to join us. He flew in and we're paying all his travel expenses. The check will be in the mail. But he runs the Tony Brony team. That is his real name. And he is in the Tampa Bay area, covers a lot of Central Florida. And Abby, if you could just unshare the PowerPoint so he can see our faces and make him feel more welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
People.
Hey guys.
I think he lives in front of this Tony Brony team background because every time I see him, he's sitting there. So I don't know, is that your bed sheet or?
Yeah, bed sheets. I pulled them out, and we have two people holding each side right now. No, it's my home office, so
That's
I've got it converted to my home, my house office. So.
Cool. Would you be able to quickly tell us a little what your production is? Obviously, your location. How long you've been in the business. Just some introductory info.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Tony Brony team. We, in the last 12 months, have served 250 families for about 72 million in real estate volume, and then 1.8 million GCI, just over that, in the last 12 months. And I've been in real estate since 2005, and been with Keller Williams since 2007, and went through the fun real estate market here in Florida back in 7, 8, 9, 10, and all of that, and still here to tell my story, and I survived. So it's been fun, and I've met Scott a few years ago, and we became really good friends, and appreciate Scott came down to Tampa and taught for us at our market center. And that's just a little background on us. We have 15 team members. We cover St. Pete, Clearwater to the beaches on the West Coast. And then we have a expansion office in Orlando. So if you envision Clearwater, St. Pete, over to Orlando, down to Sarasota, and then as far north as a place called Dade City. So we cover a pretty big area, and we specialize in relocations. So if you guys have anyone we can serve, we'll definitely take good care of them and make sure their transition to Florida is a good one. And pretty much my whole team's from the Midwest, so it's kind of funny. I'm from Illinois originally, and most of my team are from the Midwest as well. So we all moved here at some point down to Florida.
It's hard to believe, but Tony gets more incoming referrals sent to him than he sends to us. So, I mean, I don't know why that would be, but yeah.
Working on that.
Yeah, no, he's got a very, very desirable area. So I want to start with COVID specifically. And it's awesome that you have the unique experience that you've already been through this shift, or not this shift, but a shift. And
Yeah.
so this is a two-part question. Two-part question is, what is your team doing differently now that you didn't do before COVID? You know, how have you adapted? And then once you answer that, like the follow-up would be, was anything that you changed, do you think going through it once already helped prepare you for that? Or, you know, how that going through the first shift prepared you for the second shift?
Yeah. So what we're doing differently is we do a team huddle every day. I'd like to say we were doing that prior to this, but we weren't. We are, going over script and role play at 9 a.m. And then that may be 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 30 minutes. I want to add more value to my team each and every day. So I always try to bring in some value to that meeting, or I'll assign it to someone on our team to lead. And then we do our lead generation from 9 to 11 every day. And then really lead follow-up is, I'd say 11 to noon, but it's really kind of all day whenever we have time. We're doing our lead follow-up on anyone that hasn't said yes. I tell people I want closure. So, I got to call you and see if you're going to do business with us or someone else. And what we've done differently is we live on Zoom now. So we have a team, as I mentioned, 15 people, and there's quite about half our sales and half our staff. So we're on Zoom and we can ask questions without walking down our hall at our office, which is pretty cool. And we are probably more engaged than we've ever been just because of that reason. We're able to see each other all the time. Some of our salespeople weren't coming in the office tons, so we actually get to see them almost every day at this point. And then just embracing all the changes and asking more questions right now is kind of our cup of tea to be able to deliver the promise to all our clients. And it's just really getting crystal clear on what their expectations are. We assume they want us to come to their house, but I've found that's not the case. Probably 50% of the time, they're okay with doing a virtual listing appointment, and they actually prefer that. So I think changing our mindset on how we are used to doing business and asking lots and lots of questions and figuring out how people feel about safety, including all your team members and yourself, and then including all clients. And I'll go from one listing appointment, they only want us to come to their house, and the very next appointment, they would never want me to walk inside their house. So what a unique time we're in. And I think we need to be prepared for virtual appointments and allow them to do it the way they want.
For sure. And what did you learn by going through this the first time? Because I would say Florida, one of the top states in the country that was hit the hardest.
Yeah, it's kind of my comfort zone, Scott. I know it sounds weird, but I grew my whole business in a down market, so I'm kind of comfortable. I think I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to be consistent. It's time to take market share, and I think it's much harder when the market's going really, really well because people don't necessarily value my experience or whatever the case may be. So to me, it's you got to win one day at a time and make that day successful, and you just build it over time. And every day you do these things that other people aren't willing to do, and good things happen over time. So I'm feeling really good about our position going into this because we're losing business to a lot of people. Quite frankly, we probably shouldn't lose business to because they're not calling us because their cousin just got their real estate license, and in Florida, there's 275,000 realtors, if you can wrap your head around that. You know, when you cross the border, they hand you a real estate license is kind of the joke. So, you know, we're in a very competitive market, and a down market's only going to allow us to be able to be looked at as experts, in my opinion.
I love that mindset. And I would agree that when we're working at, if we're truly plugging into what we're looking at teaching and running your business like a business and having a great concept of your value proposition, a down market is only going to help us, because that's where the professional realtor is going to shine, and that's where the cousin Eddie part-time realtor is going to get out of the business. And you take well, in your case, you take probably 40,000 of those like part-time realtors, and they just are out of the business. And if they each do 3-4 sales a year, that's a lot of sales. So I love that mindset. Are you someone, and I don't even know the answer to this, but are you someone that has a good 6 months saved up of reserves, or are you fly by the seat of your pants with that, or somewhere in between?
You know, we've got our expenses down about as low as they can be, which is about 50,000 for us for break-even point, and that equates to we need to do 14 transactions to break even each month, and then anything above that becomes profit. So we're crystal clear on our numbers. We have a really heavy reserve just for times like this. So during this time, hopefully I don't need to let anyone go based on me not having my business plan properly on my end. And so, yeah, we have well above a year reserves in the bank for worst case scenario.
Very cool. And I think you're going to see a lot of the people that are in our office that have been through the first shift with that similar mindset of, having that buffer. And
Absolutely.
So just so everyone knows, 50,000 is a month, not for the year. So, that's high stakes with everything, but you have that drilled down not only to the number, but to the transaction that you need to be profitable.
Yeah. And just to put that in perspective, Scott, we started this at 68.
Yeah.
We've got expenses down by 18,000 a month and that's without cutting any hours, any payroll. We've actually doubled down on that. Like Bold Pivot, we invested in our entire team to take Bold Pivot, as we felt it was a good opportunity for them to learn. And, some would not want to ever pay the 800, especially necessarily our admin. So, we're actually doubling down on certain things where we want people to feel the love and appreciation we have for them. And we told them day one, where, our goal is not to let anyone go during this, but here's the deal. Things are going to get harder. They're not going to get easier. So I'm going to need you to do more, and I'm going to be doing more along with you, but together we'll get through this. Right. And so far we're up about 40 units in the last 3 months. So I think it's working out pretty well.
Yeah. I saw on Facebook that your whole team was taking Bold Pivot, and that was a really cool moment. I was proud to see that, and how much excitement of 15 people all hearing the same thing and speaking that same language. So
Absolutely.
it's just a great example of being innovative or just quick to act. Hey, we're doing this. We're going all in. So that's really cool. There's 2 things I want to cover. One is you have 2 very good scripts or very good keys to your success, and one of them is the promise that and that you can talk through on how you do. But I believe I'm right here that you have the most reviews in your area, or can you talk about how you use the promise to get reviews and referrals?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
best way to do that is to just script it, or
yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So do you want to be the client, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to act like I'm going on a listing appointment and I'm meeting you for the first time, and we'll set the stage there. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Hey, Scott, thanks for having me out today. I really appreciate it. It's 1 o'clock and we had a 1 o'clock appointment today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. I've heard good things on you online from all your reviews.
Oh, the pressure's on then. The pressure's on. Well, Scott, here's the deal. There's thousands and thousands of realtors in our area, and I don't take for granted that you called us versus someone else. So I really look forward to sitting down with you today and seeing how we can be a good fit for you, and also to answer any and all questions you might have so you're comfortable making a decision today on listing your house with us.
Cool.
Kid, so when you called in, I saw that Anne Marie actually set the appointment up with you. Did she go over what the promise was?
Yeah, she did, briefly, for sure.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna just touch base on that as well. Did you have a chance to look over our pre-listing packet yet?
I'm a 99D, so I don't know, it's somewhere in the back there.
Scott, you and everyone else. So no worries. We're glad you have it. You have it there to review in your email if needed. So the very first thing I'm going to cover today is the Tony Baroni team and our mission and what we're all about. Okay, so the promise is what our team's all about. Can I share with you what that means to me?
Definitely.
Okay, so the promise to me means that we're going to deliver the best real estate experience you could ever imagine receiving, Scott. And when we do that, we would just want to absolutely thrill you. If we're able to do that, would that make you happy?
Yeah, I have a good imagination too, so that's going to be quite the task.
Uh-oh. So in return, Scott, we asked for two things, okay? The first thing, we wouldn't know how we did unless we got feedback from you and we asked. So we're going to ask you to do an online reviews on 7 key websites at the end of this. And we just want to make sure you're okay with that. Would you give us feedback at the end of this?
Yeah, I don't see why not, for sure.
Okay, great. So, and then the second thing we ask, Scott, is sometime between now and closing, we want to compel you to give us a referral for someone else that has real estate needs that we could help. Would you be willing to do that?
If I'm thrilled and you are actually doing what you say, then I'm definitely willing to tell my friends about that.
Okay, so we're going to pause. So right there is pretty much what everyone says. They literally say that, and then you go, well, of course, all of this starts with us delivering you the best real estate experience you could ever imagine receiving, Scott. I wouldn't ask for either of these things if I didn't do that on my end, but we're assuming we've done that. So you're saying you'd be comfortable referring us to someone we could help with real estate needs?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So can I share with you what the promise is not, Scott?
Definitely.
Okay, so the promise is not that everything will go perfect, that nothing will get sideways on us. There's these things called human beings involved in real estate, and I guarantee some things will get sideways on us, okay? But that's where we have the most value is with our experience, we're going to be able to navigate through the process and make sure we hold your hand and have all the solutions needed to get you to the closing table as smoothly as possible, okay? So I just wanted to be clear, we will have challenges because there just naturally are in real estate, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but we're going to get you there. We're going to get you to the finish line. And I appreciate you agreeing to fulfill the promise on your end, and we're definitely going to fulfill it on our end. Did you have any other questions about it?
No, I don't think so. That's awesome.
Did you have anyone right now that you think we could help?
No, but there's someone from the Midwest that wants to come down and join your team.
Awesome. Let's have, yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what, Scott, will you connect us with a 3-way text so we can start that conversation and make sure they're cared for?
For sure.
Awesome. And that's a real, like that script at the very end is so key. What are we really doing, guys? We are training our people when we take care of them, that they will in turn take care of us is all we're doing. It's the golden rule, right? And did it feel like I'm shaking him down for referrals at all?
It didn't feel that way to me. And before we go further, are you able to share that with us, like in writing? Because I saw some people like feverishly writing down and
Sure.
kind of getting stressed.
Yeah.
So we'll get that script So you can, that's good. You can ease your way through that. What I notice about that is, well, one question comes up is, how many times have you done that? Like 7,000, or like it felt very, very comfortable?
A lot, thousands at this
Okay.
point.
If you know the language of sales, or if you have taken bold, or you studied scripts, there was a lot of intricacies of pauses and tie downs, and and everything that was done. Do you still practice that script outside of listing appointments?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I talk about it daily. I mean, we talk about it daily. So, if I felt like a team member's not up to this, it's the promise. I mean, it's like, we got to live up to the promise on our end. We have to make sure we're delivering that. We have this extra pressure of being in Bold 2.0 that, we're going to be that standard, right? Of making sure we're hitting that. And I'm happy to report we have now over 1,650 reviews online, 5-star reviews, that is. And that's been built since 2009. And it's really with this type of script. And we've just added the referral part to it, which we stole from a guy named Mike Hicks out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. And he did the referral part of that script. And we always did the review part of that script. So I'm like, we got to add the referral part, because as I got less and less in production myself, our referrals were going down, and we were getting 5-star reviews. So I knew that we were doing a great job, but we just weren't asking for referrals enough. Is what it came down. We weren't set. Let me put it this way. We weren't setting expectations on, we want to help more people and how to get them in contact with us. Because if I had a dime for every person that told me, hey, I gave your name out to so-and-so, I'd be retired. So, end of the day, you got to train them. How do you get them over to us? Because they're trying to do us a solid, right, by referring us someone. So we got to tell them how to do that, whether that's email, a phone call, a 3-way text is my favorite, because it works like a charm.
And you future paced it. You set expectations. It's no different than, well, the appraiser is going to come out, and it typically takes 1 week to get the appraisal report. So if I don't hear back in a week, then I'll follow up and I'll be there. So your buyer doesn't text you 1 minute after the appraisal appointment and say, what did it appraise at? It's all about future pacing, setting expectations, and who wouldn't give you a review and a referral if you're delivering top-notch service? And now that puts a ton of pressure on you to actually follow through.
Yeah, well, and then we want to create that standard within our team, right? Where we want to deliver that each and every time. And, let's say we're at closing and we go to our closings here. So, I sit down with Scott, I'm going to literally have the conversation. Hey, Scott, remember when we talked about the promise, would you be willing to still do the reviews for us? I just wanted to make sure. Yes, absolutely. How'd we do for you? You guys were awesome. Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and send you the links so you have the opportunity to do that. And by the way we've done that is we've created a link on our website. So if you guys want to go to tonybaroni.com/reviews, and you can read all our reviews there, and you can actually do reviews there. And it's all in one place on our website. So we're driving more people to our website. And we're going to have that conversation. So Scott, I do not see that we compelled you to do a referral, give us a referral during this process. So I just want to make sure, did we miss something on our end?
No.
Okay. So do you, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, Scott, what would you say we did as far as delivering the promise to you?
A 10.
10, perfect. So I assume you just probably didn't run into anyone with real estate needs.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just do an extension on that, Scott. Let's go ahead and do 6 more months. And I'm sure between now and then you'll run into someone that we can help. And remember, we're just really passionate about delivering the promise to them, your friends, family, coworkers, anyone else. Would you be willing to do that when that opportunity rises?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
I feel bad about it. I feel like I'll let you down.
Well, you're going to do the reviews, so we appreciate that. And at some point, you'll probably have a referral opportunity, and we would love to help them when that comes, when that opportunity comes. Would you mind doing a 3-way text with me when that happens and introducing me to that person?
No, not at all.
Okay, awesome. Great. Well, so it sounds like you're thrilled with the house, and we're super excited we had the opportunity to work with you. And here's your closing gift. Let me know if we have client parties coming up. We have giveaways every month we're doing. Whatever we can do to help you in the future, we're here for you.
Awesome. That's amazing. Abby, did they have a couple questions? Quick.
Yeah, there's 2 in the chat here. So, and Sharice, you can chime in if you want, but Tony, she's wondering if you open all of your appointments with that script before going into your presentation.
I do. It's the first thing. It's the first thing in our pre-listing packet and buyer's guide. I'm sorry, someone's mowing right now. Of course. Yeah, but we lead with it, and we actually talk about it, and it's our value proposition essentially as a team, and we definitely talk a lot about it. And this is the first thing we have when you open up the pre-listing packet is the promise. Because to be fully transparent, when we first started this, I would go out and I'd say, hey, did our ISA department tell you about the promise? No, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoops. You know, and then the transaction coordinator would get it and they'd be like, did the listing agent talk about the promise? No, what's the promise? You know, so over time, it's taken time to implement it, but we're 2.5 years in. And you just need to be graceful if you implement it and you do have a team to understand that people just have to change their way of thinking about it. And I'll tell you, if you think you're shaking people down for referrals, you're never going to do it. But if you believe that you just want to help more people, you'll do it every time. So it's just that mind shift.
Cool.
And then 2 other quick ones. Which review sites do you direct them to, and what percentage of your business comes from past clients' referrals?
Yeah, it's about 65% relationship right now is from referrals. It wouldn't be directly that they gave us a referral between, then and closing, but it's 65% overall is relationship based. And then the websites we focus on are Zillow, Realtor.com, Angie's List, Facebook, HomeLight, and the rest are on our website. So I'm going to drive you guys to my website. I literally can't remember the other 2, but TonyBaroni.com, TonyBaroni /reviews, and it's all right there.
You forgot on purpose so you could drive them to your website.
No, I for some reason I really can't remember the other 2, but they're all there. I just added a couple recently, so.
Cool. Well, we appreciate this so much. I found a lot of value. I've heard you say this probably 4 or 5 times, and I still pick up on things. So we appreciate that. And if there's anything we can do or I can do for you, just let us know. This was very valuable.
No, my pleasure. And I saw Tony asked. I got to take care of Tony's out there. He asked about reviews on multiple websites. We used to have an email, Tony, where it's like all 7 website links, right? And it just becomes, I think they start to do one and then they get off track and then take a phone call or a text. So now with adding it on our website has really been awesome to get more than just one referral. More than just one review. So, if they have a Gmail account, then they'll probably do a Google, right? If they shop on Zillow or Realtor, they'll probably do it on that website. But then we do contests, Tony, where every month, I don't know if contests are legal in Wisconsin, but if they are, we do a quarterly contest where if the client does all 7 websites, we give them 15 raffle tickets to win a $300 prize at the end of the quarter. So that's how we kind of drive everyone to do them and encourage them to do them after is and most of the reviews happen, I'd say between 2 weeks and 30 days after closing is when people actually do them. So the fortune is in the follow-up, right? Like you gotta, hey, you lay that groundwork. Hey, Tony, closing, I'm sending you my website links so you can go ahead and do that when you get a chance. I know you're gonna get settled in, move to your next house. Hey, I'm gonna follow up with you in 2 weeks, Tony, just to check in on you and make sure you got my link for our reviews. Would that be okay? And they're like, oh crap, he's gonna follow up with me in 2 weeks, right? And then you'll follow up in 2 weeks and they're gonna go, oh, I feel so bad. You know, I've already kind of drove home that I gave you a 10-star experience, right? And you're gonna apologize to me when I call you and you're gonna say, I'm so sorry I haven't had time to do it. And then you're gonna say, I'm gonna go ahead and resend it out. And you're gonna do some small talk and you're gonna say, I'm gonna follow up with you next week. And that's when they do the reviews, pretty much. The second to third week is, and it's a system, right? It's following up. And, but I just believe, like, if we do an amazing job, we deserve a review. And it's just my mindset. It's just something our team celebrates. You know, if they're 90 years old, then maybe they'll never do a review, and I'm okay with that. But would they, is there something we can celebrate to be able to, as a team, that we deliver the promise is my goal. Hope that helps.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
He is the feature of Bold 2.0 for KW on that promise script. So we'll get you a lot of information around that if that's something that you can perfect or want to perfect. And now I'll talk through this quick. So as far as training, the training calendar is out, and it's hard to see on this, but you'll obviously get it, or you may have already gotten it. I know I got it. I think Allison sent it out last week. And so there's a lot of great information on here. Abby's going to talk in detail about the listing series that we're adding, because the number one thing that we need to do right now is as many of us get listings as possible. And so we want to give you the tips and the tricks and all of those tools in order to get listings. And so as we continue to develop our training calendar, anything that is most relevant, we're going to change and add and pivot. And this is always a working document with one goal in mind. And that is just Keller Williams being the place that's going to give you the training to run your business like a business and do more deals and be more profitable. So that is out. The upcoming trainings are my organizational model mastermind and the operation system mastermind are both going to be tomorrow from 1 to 2:30. And I'm running the organizational model on Zoom, and Katie Goldstein is going to be running the operation system mastermind on Google Meets. So those are two big classes. And we have the Market Center Town Hall tomorrow with Shelly, who is crushing the Facebook leads and got another listing and everything from those. So she is working through it and being the local innovator around that topic. And then on Thursday, we have the huddle at 9 a.m. And there's a Germantown call night on Thursday as well. So if you guys want to do a Zoom call night from 4 to 7 and get around some people and have some accountability, then that's something super easy that you can do. Now, one plug here quick, because it is next week. And before you say, wait, last minute, I will say, I just heard about this, yesterday. Spring Masterminds always happens every year. It's actually like the third convention that isn't as talked about as much, because we have family reunion in the fall or in February and mega camp in August. Masterminds is always in May or June. And this year it's obviously digital. And the very cool piece about this is they're allowing 15 registrations for $500. It's $49 a person, but they're doing packages. And as a market center, we're committing to a package of 15 that we would pay for. And so if you guys are interested in masterminds, then there's the link at the bottom is masterminds.kw.com. This is a high level, high quality masterminds with agents across the country. And it's 2 days. You do it right from your house, obviously. And all we would ask is we have a covenant that says, if you take up one of these 15 spots and you don't end up going, that you would pay for it, because we want to get 15 people tremendous value on this. And so if you are interested in, please reach out to me and we can make this work. We can do a bundled package. But if you do have that ability and that flexibility and you want to take advantage of a great deal, then let us know. We'll get you more information on this.
So right, I'm gonna go really quick before Julia here, just to make a note on the listing series. So we are still looking for people to fill the panels. I think Kim wants at least 5 people on each panel. So there's a couple different pieces to it. So if you feel that you are strong in any of these areas, like getting the listing appointment or the pre-listing package or the presentation itself, objections, stuff like that, we're really looking for people to be on the panel. Kim will provide questions ahead of time, so they will not be questions that you cannot prepare for. So if you're interested in being on a panel, we would really appreciate that. We need to get some more people. She didn't really say who to email, so if you want to be on one of these panels, send myself or Allison an email, and we'll get you enrolled on that panel. So that's all I had for that. And it starts next week, so we'd love to see more people.
This is going to be ongoing. So, you know, these are the skills that you need to get more listings, and they build on each other. So if there is really like one thing that we should all attend and go to, it could really be this. You know, let's go get listings. It also is for buyer agents, because they're buyer listings as well. And you got to know a lot of the same presentations and how to get appointments. And so this isn't only for people working with sellers.
So good point on that. I forgot Kim made notes on the back of this for me too. For the 10-minute tips, she wants them to focus on listings. So even as a buyer agent, maybe 10-minute tip on how buyer agents are finding homes for their buyers. CMA, MLS tricks, stuff like that. So if you have a tip related to anything listings, email Allison so that we can get you on the team meeting to share. So today, Julia is doing ours, I believe, appraisals.
Hi, everyone. So obviously, we have seen that there's obviously strong activity with homes that are going under contract, and in a lot of cases, multiple offers. I think, Scott, you posted a few days, or Karen did, where she had like 28 offers on one of her listings. And, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of them, in a lot of cases, you are in a situation where they need to appraise out. I chatted with Bill just briefly before our meeting, and there for a while, I think because of what was happening with COVID-19, as well as what was happening with interest rates going down, we were hearing that a lot of appraisers were just doing drive-bys. That's not necessarily the case anymore. They are going into properties, and he actually did confirm that, unfortunately, some of them are not appraising. And you know, it's awesome when we get multiple offers and we're getting way over ask, but at the end of the day, our job is, as best we can as a fiduciary for our sellers, is to ensure that we can get them to appraise. And in order to do that, I've adopted a practice, and I know I've presented it a number of times in front of the market center, but I'm happy to do that again today. I actually prepare what I refer to as a deck. And I actually take this deck with me also on listing appointments. I'm just going to hold it up. This deck really is a way for me to meet with the appraiser and feel very confident that I have done my homework and ensuring that I have priced the property correctly. And at the same time, I'm also trying to combat if I do have offers that are over ask, validating that that is the case and that I can prove, hopefully, that it should appraise out. So I do a couple of things. I create a deck. I have on the very top sheet the appraiser's name and phone number along with my information. I also include in this deck a copy of the offer that I had received and the seller accepted. And what I do is I actually take a big green highlighter and I write across the offer to purchase what the price that the buyer is willing to pay. I write it in big type, and also include all of the information from MLS, the private sheet. And I highly recommend that as you are setting up your listing, you just make an extra copy, throw it in your folder so that when it's time to go and meet the appraiser, a lot of that work's done. I literally just have to grab and go. And in some cases, I'm getting a call that day or a day of that the appraiser wants to get in. And so I don't have to necessarily freak out that I've got to quickly pull this together. I include the colored photos of the listing, although you'll find an appraiser will go through and take photos of the property. I do remind them when I meet them and present the deck to them that those are included, just to hopefully save them some time. Things about this house, I include also that is in my marketing that is in the property. Again, I just make an extra copy, that's already done. So if the appraiser has any questions about the mechanicals or any updates, that's all included. And if you by chance, or your seller, if you've got someone who's type A and they have all the information about how much they've spent in the last probably 10 or 15 years on updating their home, include that. Anything I can do and offer value, that's what I include in this deck. I also have a full report on the tax information. Obviously, an appraiser can get all of this, but my goal is to really try to ensure that I'm saving them time and I'm providing value. And while I'm there with the appraiser, I'm actually trying to also establish rapport. So in that, if there are any questions, obviously that's why my information is included on the front. I really encourage them to call me with questions if they have any. I include my comparable market analysis as well. And then by chance, if there's anything that's pertinent about the property or the area that the property is located in, any great parks, restaurants, schools, information that you know of that people, why they want to live in those communities, include that. That is to me a selling point as well. So I put this deck together, and when I go and meet the appraiser, I hand it to them at the end, because obviously they don't want to carry it around while they're doing their due diligence. And I have to say, I have been very fortunate. I have not had a property since I've been in the business 5.5 years not appraised. Now, I'm not promising that if you get an offer over $30,000 of your list price that it will appraise. However, I think we as fiduciaries of our clients need to do everything we can to do what we can to get it to appraise. Likewise, I would also throw out that if you're on the buying side and you're writing well over ask, that you might want to include something in your offer that your buyer, after you've had a conversation with them, is willing to absorb the difference if it doesn't appraise, if they really want that property. Because if it doesn't appraise, unfortunately, that can take us all the way back to square one from a negotiation standpoint, and your deal could potentially fall through. So I think there's some, yin and yang on the fact that I'm presenting this from a listing standpoint, but from a buying standpoint, from a buyer's agent, I think that we also, from a fiduciary standpoint of our buyers, really need to coach them when they are willing to write offers well over ask. because in some cases they might not appraise. And from what I'm understanding from Bill, that is happening out there. So you'd hate to get this far in the transaction and unfortunately have it fall through. So I think, I don't know, was that 9 minutes? So
That was awesome.
That was great.
okay. Questions? Probably not. Okay.
Just a lot of thank yous.
Okay.
And hand clapping from the Shipley house.
Just one comment is appraisers are humans. Like, if you didn't know, they're not robots. And when you have someone like Julia that is there with like a smile and some great information, and you're coming from contribution, you're not coming from like a, hey, I know what it is, you better listen to me. Like, that makes such a huge difference. And on the flip side, if you make an appraiser angry, that's going to make a difference against you. So just know that you get 10 different appraisers, you might get 10 different values. And what can you do as a professional to help maximize the chances that at home is going to appraise? So that's really good information and a really good process to add to every listing.
Okie dokie.
Do we have a
Can I
couple
add-
more minutes for Cindy?
Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
Okay, so Julia, I've been following this for the last year and it's been extremely helpful. And I actually go back and I've saved or flagged the post from our meeting last year when you stood up and presented it. And I follow it verbatim. And I haven't had a single appraiser so far that has not appreciated this, with exception to one who was extremely crabby when I showed up and didn't appreciate me being there at all. But all the other ones have been awesome. And I just think it's very helpful to have it. I think it's awesome. So thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, and just one more plug. I really think you can bring these to your listing appointments as well and really sell what you do differently than other agents. I'm really shocked at how many agents outside of Keller Williams do not go to their appraisal. So, yeah. Thanks, Mandy.
So Cindy jumped off the call, so I think those little updates will be next week. Otherwise, I think that's it.
All right, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Hope you took some stuff away, and we will get you that info. Thank you a lot, Julia.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.